And now it's time for a bit of a catch-up on the Daily Pilgrim channel with Alex's latest video log. Well, hello. Welcome to this video log. Having secured myself, I'll just get out of here and I'll tell you what's been going on. So I will be honest and say it has been a very busy time of things just recently, and I've been really struggling to keep up with my commitment to YouTube and the podcast. I have kept up with one podcast a week, although I was trying to go for two, and I was aiming to do 2 videos every week, and I'm just about up together with that. So the idea was to do one adventure style video and one little catch-up vlog. This obviously is the catch-up vlog. Now, I had already made one, and unfortunately when I reviewed the footage, as is often the way, not entirely happy with it. Things happened, things went wrong, the actual footage didn't quite say what I wanted to say or whatever, so I thought I'd do another one today, and I've only actually got about half an hour between home and where I'm trying to get to, so I thought maybe sort of 5 minutes would be a 5-minute vlog might be good. So in my last video, the adventure video, I went to Hayling Island, and I have to be honest and say it was much needed. It was very, very relaxing, and I talked about this in the podcast, but I haven't had a holiday properly for about 7 years, and any time that I went on a holiday trip, I would always end up dropping the family off and then coming back and working, so it wasn't really a holiday. And even when I was actually away properly, I would still take work with me. And I know I do sort of do that now, but I have very much changed my work. So, you know, I do what I enjoy and on what I love. So it's not so much work, it's more just the next thing that I'm doing on the next project. So I have been deciding on a car to buy. Now I have a budget in mind for a car, and although I must just say I love the camper, I still love the camper very much, and I will still be using that for lots of videos, particularly the adventure ones. But for day-to-day use, I thought I really could do with a car as well. So I have been looking, and I've been through a few options. Now I had a budget in mind of about £5,000. So first of all, I looked on websites such as Auto Trader and other websites as well, and I thought, well, what can I buy for £5,000? So I typed into the search criteria cars under £5,000, newest or lowest mileage first. I played with both of those. And apart from the fact that you do get quite a few people that are selling 20-year-old cars that put the wrong year in deliberately to take them to the top of the search results, you get rid of those. You get rid of all the write-offs as well, the category S, N, whatever it is, write-offs. So I always delete all of those and see what's left. So I was looking at I think it's the Suzuki Celerio, or Celery, as people like to call it for some bizarre reason. And I wasn't, how can I put it, I wasn't particularly impressed. I mean, yes, it was a newer car for your money, but it wasn't particularly newer. I don't think it was still 3-4 years old, and it still had 40,000-50,000 miles on the clock. And I just wasn't that impressed. Particularly when I was looking at some of the detailed photos and seeing how, you know, the plastic door handles and things that had actually sort of faded. I thought, well, if that's after 3 years, you know, apparently low mileage, what's it going to be like after I've had it for a year? So I discounted that. I then started looking at slightly more sporty vehicles. and I started looking at Porsche Boxsters. Now these look tremendously good fun, and I thought, well, for £5,000 I could get a lot of a German sports car. Great, I was going to say Italian then. They wouldn't have thanked me for that. So you could get a lot of car for your money. But after I did some more research, a bit of due diligence, and asked a few friends that have got Porsches, they all said the same thing. It's lovely, fantastic idea, but if it's your one and only car and you are relying on it, do be careful, because even a tyre could cost you £200. And if something more serious goes wrong, you could be looking at thousands and scrapping the car. So I ummed and ahed, and I thought, well, okay, fair enough. So I got rid of that idea, and I ended up back at, you can probably guess where, I ended up back looking at MX-5s. And I'd been put off them a little bit, well, not put off the MX-5s, but people seem to be charging a huge premium this year for them, or maybe I just got it at a time when they were slightly cheaper. But they're definitely more expensive now for the miles and for the age. So I've sort of been, again, looking quite seriously at it, but I think what I might do is wait just another month or so when the children go back to school in September or what have you. Wait till it starts to get a bit colder, and I reckon that I could probably get one a lot cheaper, or even a bit cheaper would be good, when they're not in such demand. And also, MX-5s do leak. You can say whatever you want, and I think that if it's in the rain, it's the best time to go and see the car, because you can see it warts and all. The boat has been parked now for, well, an overstayed period of time. I had to get an extension through the Canal and River Trust. My arm has got a bit better, but it's still not 100%, and I really didn't want to try and do boating, particularly single-handedly. And it's also got a bit of a problem with the starter, as in the starter is hanging off at the moment, so that needs to be secured. I just haven't had the enthusiasm to move the boat at the moment. There's been too much work happening. Now, certainly the reason that I went on the Hayling Island trip earlier this week, I took 4 funeral services on Monday, and mentally I was absolutely shattered. And that had been the end of a very long time of things, a lot of pressures had sort of come all at once, really, and a huge workload, and lots of people, either sort of not chasing me for things, but phoning me wanting information or phoning to chat. And whilst all that is absolutely fine, when you have a busy work schedule and it all happens at once, and you're trying to give your best to everybody, there isn't really a moment to stop. So yeah, I was glad I went on the trip. And as well, it's the first video that I've been, I think, really proud of, that I did all by myself, as in Noah didn't come with me on the journey. And I did manage to produce what I think to be a reasonably good video. Now there's definitely more to come, and I hope to improve and tweak and what have you as I go, but it was nice to be able to do that and publish that and get that up this morning, so that was really good. Now, I did say in the podcast, we got invaded by wasps at the house, and I'm afraid I'm not a wasp-loving person. Bees are wonderful. Bees won't attack you unless you upset them. They have a very important part to play in our ecosystem, and I'm told that wasps do as well, but I don't see what it is. And I think the fact that wasps will attack you just for being too close. I'm not a lover, so we tried to deal with the issue, and I thought we had, and I thought we'd solved it with some wasp nest poison. But it seemed this morning that one of them didn't get the memo, and he returned after his summer vacation and has gone back in. So I've tried to do a bit more spraying this morning. Very bravely ran out, sprayed really quickly, ran back inside, shut the door, and Now, I might be on my way to take a service, and I've got some work to do this afternoon, but I'm quite looking forward to later on today when I've done all those jobs. And I'd like to go out, and I've got the bug actually, so I'd like to go out and do a bit more video again. I've no idea what I'm going to do, but I'd quite like to go out and try and do something. So there is a sort of a plan for the next adventure video. I mean, if I could climb a hill or something like that, that'd be quite fun, I think. Certainly in a few weeks I want to go back to North Wales, and I want to try and redo the trip that I did about 8 weeks ago, I think, the Inspirational Wales. I mean, that was a great trip, but I think for me it didn't quite hit the spot, because the footage that I ended up with, I mean, I tried to do too much over too long, and I ended up getting very confused and deleting the wrong stuff, and it was a real minefield, and if I'm honest, a real mess. And I'm quite sad really, because I deleted a lot of the video footage, some of it accidentally. Didn't have enough to complete the storyline that I was doing. And I really do think that there were things that I was trying to do and trying to achieve, so I'd like to go back and give it another go. I've also got a trip planned to Brecon. I want to go to the mountain railway at Brecon, and generally have a bit of a look round. When I was a lot younger, I must have been, I suppose, 13, something like that, and my granny and granddad and we used to go out for trips, day trips, just driving round, and they had this book, I think it's called AA Tours of Great Britain or something like that, and there was this one trip that we went on, and it took in there was some sort of Imperial War Museum, there was the mountain railway, the Brecon Beacons, a few other places as well, and it really was a lovely trip, and I would quite like to try and recreate that. Again, I've tried to do it with the family years ago, but sadly, it wasn't something that enthused them all. So I think probably quite a middle-aged thing. So I'm going to go and I'm going to try and do that as well. And then, of course, the real biggie, I want to go back to Portmeirion, and I'm deliberately waiting till out of season. Admittedly, my annual pass has expired now, so I need to renew that. But I would like to go, as part of, and that really would be part of the North Wales trip. But very much a place that, for me, very important place, Portmeirion, because when I was in my 20s, some time ago now, and I was trying to do my law degree, and I remember it was a pretty rough time of things, and we went, my mum, my dad, my ex-wife and my eldest daughter, and she would only have been about 4, I think, and we went and we had this most magical time at Portmeirion. It really was, and I really would like to go and just go back there. It was a magical place for me, a world on its own. And again, I think it's all part of this, trying to find this peace and meaning, really. So that's what's coming up. Forthcoming videos, a few others as well, but I haven't really worked through those ideas yet. So I will do those as and when, really. I think that wraps it up for this one. So that's what's been going on in Alex's world, and that's hopefully what will be going on all within the next month. That'll be really good. So I'll sign off for now and go and do my bit of work that I've got to go and do. So thanks indeed for watching. Do please subscribe, and if you haven't already, tell your friends, because I really am trying to take the channel forward still, and I've reached a sort of a point now where I just need people to subscribe. So please share with friends, tell people, be most kind. But I will say bye-bye for now, and I will see you on the next one. Take care.